curious about the technology. I want to find out about how the panel feels about, things like 5G, and I want to get your thoughts. And I want to know if people think there should be some testing to investigate. I want to know what the panel thinks if they believe it could compromise the immune system. Can I just get your thoughts, Dr. Buttar, and then I'd love to get a vote to see how people feel.
Absolutely, Brian. So Dr. Mark Hoke is holding up a sign. It says Nuremberg Code, voluntary informed consent. Can you tilt that a little bit more because it's kind of hard to read it? Brian, can you read that?
Oh, if you go forward a little bit, if you just push it forward.
Closer to the screen just a little bit. Nuremberg Code, voluntary informed consent, and then something equals
crime.
Mandatory
vaccine equals crime.
Mandatory vaccines equals crime.
Right. So
thank you for that, Dr. Hoke.
Dr. Hoke, appreciate that. All right. So let's talk about the technology and the 5G because I'm very curious what this panel thinks. Can you give me your thoughts, Dr. Buttar? And then we need a good question where we can try to pull out the consensus.
Well, regarding 5G, it's certainly, some people have said there's a conspiracy theory between 5G and COVID. Nobody's saying that, nobody here, no doctors are saying that 5G causes COVID. I don't believe anybody would say that. Well, let's ask that question. Does anybody here believe that 5G causes COVID-19?
Let's take a look at hands.
See that there's nobody's holding their hand up.
Just hold them up if you do. I just want to get through and screen through this and just see if anyone thinks that. And that's a great baseline question just to see where we're at. Okay, so it looks like none of the doctors thinks that 5G causes COVID-19, which is what I've heard from all the people that have come here. Okay,
right.
Next part.
Next question would be, does 5G contribute to some impact that's detrimental on the immune system? Does 5G have any immunosuppressive component?
Okay, hold your hand up if you think it has any immunosuppressive component. Man, I saw the hands fly up right away there. Okay, keep those hands up. This is super important. Scrolling through here, I'm seeing everybody on page 2. I'm seeing everybody on page 1 for me.
And if it's for some of you guys, because of your screens, maybe you can put your hand up right in front of your face. Perfect.
That's right in front of your face. If you keep those hands up. Okay, again, I'm shocked that almost every doctor on this panel thinks that 5G has something to do with.
Well, there's a Dr. Stephen Thane that says I'm unfamiliar with 5G. Okay. So there may be some people that are unfamiliar with 5G.
Stephen Thane says I'm unfamiliar with 5G.
There's a couple that said don't know, and that's fine. That's fair enough. That's a fair question. Some doctors know. There's 2 of them that are saying that they don't know that I've seen so far, but pretty much everybody else is saying it. So, Brian, can I just add one little component to that real quick?
Please.
There have been over 2,000 studies done that show the detrimental effects of this new technology. So the 5 millimeter wave, the stuff that we have to go through when we go through TSA, for example, I'm going to be interviewed tonight regarding a declassified Russian governmental document that shows that they knew the detrimental effects of this 5 millimeter technology as far back as the 1980s. And we have a US naval document that shows in 1971, the research that was done on the 5 millimeter, how dangerous it was. But TSA always tells us not to do, there's nothing to worry about. I can tell you that I felt so good when I started seeing this information because I have never gone through those 5 millimeter, where you raise your arms up and go through security. I have never gone through that. I've missed 2 flights. I always get a pat down. I always get a free massage, by TSA going through that scenario. But the detrimental effects of that 5 millimeter technology and the 5 millimeter technology with the 5G, the 60 gigahertz, it's very complicated, but there have been thousands of studies, 2,000 to be specific, showing the incidence of cancers, specifically cardiac cancers, adrenal cancers, neurological cancers, and also neurological implications from being exposed to the high levels of this technology. And so to kind of give you the medical aspect or the physiological aspect, the 5G appears to disrupt the voltage-gated calcium channels in the cell membrane, allowing for an efflux of calcium into the cell, causing an increase of calcium, which then is consistent with what they call a suppression of apoptosis. So increased calcium inside a cell, intracellular calcium, actually disrupts the apoptotic cascade. So in cancer, you have a suppression of apoptosis, you have an increased proliferation of cells, of uncontrolled cellular proliferation, and these are all consistent with cancer, which explains why with the studies that have been done at 1.8 gigahertz, that's 1.8 gigahertz is equal to 1.8 billion hertz, you start seeing these cancers occur. And the rollout, when it starts coming full-fledged, will be between 30 gigahertz and 300 gigahertz, which is 30 billion to 300 billion hertz. And at 1.8 billion hertz is where the cancers have been observed. So this is a massive issue. It's basically blanketing the planet in a microwave field. And it's basically radio frequency electromagnetic fields that are being generated that are not cell resonant. They are not consistent with being beneficial to the human system. They cause a problem. Now, the one thing is, if there is technology that's available that you can actually change that, where the output of the energy is the same, but it becomes cell resonant. It actually makes it, enhances the body, but those technologies are either being suppressed or they're not being talked about. So it's basically the current way the 5G is being used has a potential for serious health implications.